Alright, so this is Pokemon Snap. We're going to get started pretty soon. It's a little bit weird because Pokemon Snap is typically an auto-scroller game, but you can actually speedrun this game, and there's literal actual speed tech. The game itself is a little weird because there's also RNG with getting a good time, so my estimate of 27 is assuming we get good RNG. If we don't, we might be a little bit over that. Also, if I'm just incredibly rusty like I am, we might be over that as well. So, let's get this to a point where I can actually start the timer and such. This is going to be kind of awkward, actually. But that's okay. So first we need a name. And this is very important because it doesn't do anything for the run. But, do we have... This is the best I can do. There we go. If I go over, the whole marathon's canceled and that's it. We're done. Sorry, guys. Hopefully we don't, though.
Or return the money.
So, timer will start here as soon as I hit go. On the end screen here. And... go. So first there's Professor Oak. We're going to mash through his text a bit, but hopefully I don't say I did not get all that, which we didn't, which is great. So the first level is Beach. This is sort of the tutorial level. I'm actually going to be using a little bit old strats on this, but hopefully it's fine. New strats, you actually take a picture of this Pikachu, which is on the bottom of the screen here. But I'm going to avoid that to make sure that I get the RNG that I want, and basically so I'm not changing my route. There's this Butterfree up ahead. If we get good RNG, the Butterfree will sort of move right where this cloud is. No, we got bad Butterfree RNG. That's okay. So now we need to get a Lapras. Lapras should pop up here in the water. Perfect. So I'm going to take a picture of these. No, Butterfree, please. I'm going to take a picture of those Butterfree. That first Butterfree is normally the one you want, but it had bad RNG, so it's the wrong direction. In order for you to get a good picture in this game, the Pokemon that you want to take a picture of need to be directly facing you, as well as close to center frame as possible. So that Butterfree was turned to the left, so it's actually not going to be enough points. The next thing you want to do is you want to try and get the Pokemon doing a special action. So like, this Lapras unfortunately spawned a little early, so that might also be a bad score. But we can make up some of that score later, hopefully. So right now we're going over a little bridge. I'm actually just waiting to hear Doduo pop out. Should be any second now. There we go. And then there's going to be a Meowth that'll run across the track here, which I'm going to get a picture of. That should be about 3,800 points. We're going to get a picture of Kangaskhan here. As we go over, turn very quickly, get a picture of the Eevee, and exit out of the stage. So, we need to get a very specific amount of points on each of these stages in order to unlock different items. For instance, the apple-shaped Pokemon food. Is that the... that first one might actually be better, but I'm going to go with the second one. As well as the Pester Ball, etc., etc. So I don't think I'm actually going to have those points on this first go-around, because I think I got screwed a little bit on my photos due to some bad RNG. From Butterfree specifically and Lapras, but no, they actually were perfect. Awesome. So I think I might be okay. That Kangaskhan's going to be bad, but that's fine. If I'm good, I should be at 18,000, which I am, so I'm actually perfectly fine. Awesome. So I'm going to make sure I don't go into the Pokemon report, because it's really slow. And we're going to go to Tunnel instead.
Yes.
And what we're going to do, we're actually going to take a couple photos here in Tunnel. I'm going to burn a photo. And then I need to take two photos of one of Pikachu, one of Electrode, exit the stage. The reason I burned a photo there is that we're going to try and save a little bit of time on menuing, picking our photos. By going directly down and picking the two that we want. Otherwise, one of them would be way on the right, which would waste a little bit of time in menuing. So this will give me about 7,000, which will get me to the 24,500 that I need to unlock the apple-shaped Pokemon food. There we go. So we're gonna go back to Tunnel. Sorry, I was reading chat for a second there and lost track of what I was doing. First thing we're gonna do is bully Pikachu. That has nothing to do with the run. And then we're going to start throwing an apple over this way. We're gonna try and bully this Electabuzz. There we go, I hit it properly. And we're gonna hit Electabuzz again. What this is gonna do is it's gonna screw up the Electabuzz movement a bit so that we can squeeze by it with our cart, which we didn't do. Oh god! Panic! 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 Okay, we're fine. I screwed that up, but that's okay. So we're gonna get a picture of Electabuzz from behind. Again, the Electabuzz needs to be facing you in order for you to get more points, and if we don't do that, then it's not going to be at the correct distance to get a good point total for that. We're gonna hit that Electrode to cause these Kakuna to drop, to get a nice close-up picture of that. There's a Zubat that'll come through this door, which we want to get right here. So if you notice that Zubat didn't actually give me the name, if you read Reticle a Pokemon, it'll give you the name for that Pokemon, but it was still center frame when I took the photo. So even though it didn't give me the red reticle to say that I got a Zubat, that one should be a perfect photo by the end of it. And yeah, it looks like we did get a big donation. I can't actually look at that until afterwards, but we will see how that goes. There's a Magikarp here, which I think was turned incorrectly, but that's okay, hopefully. So the way you unlock stuff... Oh, that Zubat was bad, but that's okay, we got the one earlier. So the way you unlock stuff in this game is you need to both have a good point total based on how good your pictures are, and you also need to have a good Pokemon count, which is incredibly important. I think I'm actually a cycle behind on this Diglett, so this is going to be a little bit awkward, but that's okay. That just means the Doug Trio picture is going to be a little bit worse, but I can make that up later on in the run. So a lot of the run is essentially micromanaging your points that you're getting, as well as keeping track of how many Pokemon you've taken pictures of. So we're going to go around the corner here. I'm going to keep the camera looking up. One thing you'll see me doing in this run a lot is not looking at any Pokemon at all, period, and looking at the sky or the floor. The reason for that is that the N64 has a really bad issue with actually doing anything. So if you have a lot of stuff moving on the screen at the same time and it's trying to load all of that graphical everything, the entire console will just slow down and chug as it's trying to load it. So there's specific points where I'm going to be looking up, looking down to basically save on a lag reduction that would otherwise be there. And yeah, that second Zubat was bad. This Zubat is slightly off center frame. I think that one's actually not that good. We got a better Haunter picture though, thankfully. And some pretty awkward menuing here just because I took some extra photos, but that's okay. And I want this one because this one was center frame on the Magneton. The Magneton actually in the middle of the Magneton, like literally in the middle, is not considered Magneton. That's considered the background. So you need to actually take a picture of one of the corners, which is actually the Magnemites that make up the Magneton. Otherwise you will not get the "oh, wonderful" noise. I should be at 40 something? 50? 50's fine. I'm usually at like 52. I was thinking I might be at 49 there, but we're okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So we're in Volcano. Volcano, we only do about half of the stage. I'm going to zoom in real quick here to reduce a little bit of lag and aim. And we're going to throw an apple right here. For some reason, Professor Oak likes a picture of Rapidash specifically at its crotch, and I don't know why. But he thinks that that is the most... Oh, wonderful. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do that. We're going to get a picture of Vulpix and then immediately look away, because Vulpix is so cute that it lags the game. So we're not going to look at it. There's also two Vulpix in the ground, directly in front of us, running around in circles. They are also way too cute, and also lag the game really badly. So we're not going to look at Vulpix. That is the one time. There's a setup over here. This setup's a little weird with the Magmar and the Charmander. So what we need to do is we need to get the Magmar away from the Charmander and then throw an apple for the Charmander to eat. So I'm going to do that. I need to get a picture of the Charmander eating the apple, picture of the Magmar killing the Charmander, and then that will evolve it into Charmeleon. And then I need to get a picture of Charmeleon running towards the camera, so I throw that apple there. Now I'm looking up at the sky here because it's loading another area. And if I don't do that, then the whole game will lag a bit, but it also won't accept any input. For instance, that apple I threw will not break the Moltres egg into the lava. But we're going to get a picture of Moltres doing that little magma thing and exit the stage very quickly. And then just throw basically all of our pictures at Professor Oak. Oh. My menuing's off because I took an extra photo of the Charmander. There we go. And mash through text here. We should be wonderful on all of these, I think, actually. Unless the Charmander was off. There we go. And that should make up for the Zubat that we missed earlier. 70... Sure. So I need 72,500. I'm actually lower than that. If you're at a high enough score, you can sort of skip getting 2 Pokemon at the beginning of here. But I think the Poliwag's only going to give me about 2,000. So I'm actually going to have to get a picture of Bulbasaur as well. Which will waste about 10 to 15 seconds. Poliwag jump. Poliwag jump. I agree. God damn it. It's RNG when that Poliwag actually decides to move. We'll just get a picture of Bulbasaur. It doesn't matter if it's jumping. It would be a little bit more points, but that's fine. We just need to have, I think, like 300 for the Bulbasaur to match what I'm losing on the Poliwag, so... Yeah, there's 2,000, so I thought. And then 26,400 is fine. So this will give us the Pester Ball, so we can actually complete the river stage that we just entered. And then we're just going to re-enter that stage. So, we're going to look up at the sky. There's nothing here. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful stream. It looks like we hit our other donation incentives, so we're probably going to be doing DK5 as well as professional baby racing. Since we met all of our incentives. But there's not a whole lot to do until we move a little bit further in this stage. Unfortunately. I actually do not have my GameCube set up for DK5, so we're just going to emulator that, and if anybody wants to call Nintendo about a bootleg game that I am emulating, now would be the correct time. Although this is played on console. So I'm going to lure this Slowpoke over to this shelter sign. This Slowpoke's a jerk, and sometimes is so slow that it just doesn't even realize I threw the apples, and just sits there stupidly staring. But this time he was being nice. We're going to get a little bit of a 3-hit combo here. Get a picture of the Slowpoke. Get a picture of the Shelter. And then get a picture of the Slowbro. Bam. Got there. It's technically quicker to hit the Psyduck right there in the water, too. And make it jump out of the water, because you get a better picture point total. But I missed it there, so we're just going to get the Psyduck a little bit later. I got a buddy here watching the end of the stream with me, too. So, now we're going to knock down these 2 Metapod. There's one. Maybe? Hello? 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 That's fine. Close enough. Get a picture of at least 2 of them. You also get more points if you get multiple Pokemon of the same type in the same picture. So, that's why I wanted to get that second one, to try and get a little bit of a buffer on my point total. I'm going to hit the Porygon. And I'm actually trying to hear an audio cue here for Cloyster, which hopefully will spawn. There's 3 spots at the end of the stage here. They will either spawn Shelter or Cloyster, all of them, but it's also possible that none of them spawn Cloyster. If you do not get Cloyster on those 3, what you have to do is you have to lose about a minute and a half on Cave, which is the next stage, in order to get a picture of Jinx. So, getting good RNG on that Cloyster in the Enter % run is incredibly important. So we're just going to throw every picture at him again, minus the first Psyduck picture. This is actually a game I used to run quite a lot, but I haven't actually done this run in about 6 months, so I apologize if it's a little rusty.
Wonderful. 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 Wonderful.
Alright, Psyduck was good, so I think I'm fine on these, actually.
Wonderful.
90 something? 96, perfect.
Welcome back.
Alright, so we're going to Cave. Cave's an interesting level and has a bunch of... has a bunch of parts that can troll really, really hard, so hopefully they don't. If you look down here, there's a Zubat that'll fly up. We're gonna ignore that Zubat, but after the Zubat flies up, there's a Grimer that spawns in. I'm gonna take a picture of that Grimer, but I'm not gonna use that picture of that Grimer. What that does is if you take a picture of that specific Grimer, it spawns Muck later on in the level. Otherwise, you specifically actually cannot get Monk in this level at all. And the only way I knew about that originally, as a kid, is because of the Nintendo Power guide about it. So we're gonna hit that Grimer 3 times to evolve it into Muck. Get a picture of this Ditto. Turn around. Get a picture of Muck, who's definitely flipping off the stream. And then look up at the sky again. Grimer is technically a Pokemon that is literally trash. Until there was a Pokemon made that was also just literally trash. So, you know.
Rubbish.
It's fine. So there's a Coughing and a Jigglypuff here. I'm just gonna lose a little bit of time to actually watch them. You can also see in the background that there's a Weeping Bell that'll spawn in. We also need to get a picture of Weeping Bell coming up. There it is. But let's get this Jigglypuff first. I'm gonna want to get the Jigglypuff pretty close. Get a picture of this Weeping Bell pretty far away though, because it doesn't really matter. And then if I can... I missed the snipe. So this Weeping Bell moves around this circle in a random stopping pattern, which can really screw up your throws, like right there. And it'll just stop at basically any random point that it feels like. What happens a lot is that you'll throw the apple to hit the Weeping Bell, and then it'll just stop immediately beforehand, and you'll miss it, have to go all the way around, miss it again, because it did it again, and then you might just straight up miss Victory Bell because Weeping Bell's a jerk. But we made it that time. I think some of these photos are not very good, but Muck was actually better than I expected. Jigglypuff was worse, Coughing was worse. I got them a little too far away. The Weeping Bell I lost points on. 113. So I need 130,000 at the end of this next stage. That means we need to get 17,000?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna get 17,000. So the first thing we're gonna do is zoom in and take a picture of this definitely not Dugtrio mountain. 17,000. 17,000. I can get 16,000 in 4 photos, so I need 5 photos. Okay. I can do 5 photos. So that's Dragonite, Gyarados, Sandslash, Graveler, and 1 random Pokemon that doesn't matter. But first, let's bully the crap out of this Magikarp. Mission successful. If we need another photo to make sure that we hit that 17,000, let's just get this Sandshrew. There we go. So normally you can get about 16,000 with 4. Typically when you get to this stage, if you have a really good point total, you only leave with 2 photos. But my point total is a little bit low due to some bad pictures in Cave. Like, you can get a picture of this Sandslash going down to that ground, and it's worth 2,000. But if you get a picture closer, it's worth about 4. So it depends on what your point total is at this point in the game, of what you need to actually get. We'll get those 2, look back up, and keep moving from here. That poor Magikarp, I mean, it had it coming, to be fair. Let's be honest. Right? Right? Right.
Right.
So we're about to meet our little Magikarp friend again here, once we get down to the little waterfall. I'm just looking in this random nondescript spot for no reason at all. Oh, there it is. So we're gonna hit it with a Pester Ball and bully it even further. Ha! Take that, nerd. Oh my god! Anyway, that's how you get Gyarados. We're gonna get it doing this Hydro Pump. There we go. And then look up at the ceiling again. Slash sky. And then, yeah, we just have a little bit of time with the best song in the game. There's also Staryu and technically Starmie you can get here, but it's not really worth getting in the any % route, because they're, 1, a pain in the ass to get a picture of, and 2, not necessary to complete the game. So I ignore them. We're going to throw a bunch of Pester Balls into this whirlpool to wake up Dragonite. And look up at the sky. It's going to do a little bit of Daher, Dur, Derp. And you take a picture on the third Derp. And then now we need to bully this Squirtle to hit this Mankey, which we also need to bully. So the trick here is to aim at the Mankey, not the Squirtle. And then there's actually a little bit of a skip here. If I wait for that black circle on the right to appear, aim straight up, and do this, I might be able to hit the Mankey ahead of time. Yep, which I did. Awesome. So that's called Mankey Skip. And that saves about 5 to 6 seconds going around that corner to hit the Mankey to open up the Professor Oak secret area that unlocks the next area. Slash the Pokemon signs that we need to take pictures of.
Wait.
There we go. Alright, so let's send our photos over to Professor Oak. Now, we took a picture of one of those signs ahead of time, because you don't actually need to get into there to get the photo, as long as you do that sometime during your time in that level. There we go, that should be more than enough. I'm actually probably a little over.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I got 3,000 on that sand shroom. I'm way over now.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
That's okay.
Wonderful. Wait.
133, perfect. So that'll give us the next item that we need to continue, which is the dash engine that lets us go fast. And then we already got the Pokemon sign in Valley, so now we need to get the Pokemon sign in every other stage. So we're going to go into Cave first to get the Mewtwo sign. And basically we're just going to dash to where that sign is and then exit the stage after we've gotten the photo. Which will be coming up on the left here. This photo is really annoying to get because the little cart that you're in dips down immediately when you can actually take the photo. There we go. So if you're trying to get that photo at like the most optimal time, typically the cart will dip down and you'll just miss it, and then you've already exited the stage because habit, and it's annoying. But we got it that time because I took a little bit of time.
Welcome back.
You can take a picture of the signs earlier, but they actually won't count as a photo.
Yes.
Professor Oak says he has no idea what it is. Now we got the Pokemon Flute, which allows us to get through the river stage to get that sign. And also Vileplume if you were doing a 100% run. Speaking of 100% run, this game came out with the first 151 Pokemon, so the Gold and Silver weren't out yet. But there are only actually 63 Pokemon in the entire game. They didn't actually list all 151. Some of them appear in signs, so there's a little bit more than that, if you count those.
Yes.
Like, for instance, Cubone here.
Oh.
But
Wonderful.
you can't actually get all 151 Pokemon in Pokemon Snap. However, if you went to a Walmart, you can get some sweet-ass stickers.
Yes.
That's almost as good. So we're going to speed up a little bit here, and what we need to do now is throw a Pester Ball into this to get the coughing sign to appear, and then just quickly exit the stage. That can also be a little bit awkward. I usually boost up there to position myself better,
Yes.
but the hitbox on that little crater is super annoying. So it's possible to just throw a bunch of Pester Balls and never get it to appear.
Welcome back.
Cool, 2 more to go. This one's actually the longest one because it's at the end of the stage. You have to go through the entire stage to get it. So we're going to speed up a bit here. If we speed up too much, we can't actually get by this Electabuzz and this Electrode because our cart will stop. So I'm going to bully the shit out of this Electabuzz and then run past it as quickly as possible before it realizes what happened. This level, this particular area of the level, is the laggiest part of the entire game. And we need to specifically get this Pikachu to get as close to the Zapdos egg as possible, and then start the Poke Flute. That'll make it do Thundershock, which will activate the Zapdos egg, which will then turn on the power plant for this area. So we're gonna go ahead and speed through the rest of this stage to the end. The light is on, so that will turn on the Pokemon sign, and then we can exit the stage. There we go.
Yes. Oh, wonderful.
Alright, one more sign to get, and then just the last level of the game, which is, I believe, Rainbow Road. It's where you go when you die. Okay, I actually didn't screw that up. So we're going to speed up. The first sign in the entire game was actually right at the beginning of the first level. Right here on the left where we weren't looking at all. That's Kingler Rock. Which is kind of interesting. Considering King Rock. Or King's Rock? Whatever that item is.
Oh, wonderful.
That makes Slow King. But that's the last Pokemon Science. All we need to do now is go to Rainbow Road. Which Professor Oak is telling us about right now. And then time for the run will be right after we get Professor Oak to do our picture here for Mew. So Mew is a jerk. Mew will purposefully try to avoid your throws, which is really annoying. We need to hit Mew 6 times and then take a photo to exit the stage, though. So a lot of the time, Mew will actually move in a spot where you threw the apple or the Pester Ball, but the hitbox is actually a square around Mew, not a circle. So in order to hit Mew, you actually need to aim for exactly in the center rather than the sides. Which makes it even more frustrating to hit sometimes, because you'll hit where, like, Mew technically is, but not where the hitbox where Mew is. I'm getting bad RNG on Mew. Usually the best RNG is if Mew comes directly at the player in the center of the screen, but if it goes to the side, it can be a little bit tough to compensate the throw, and you throw over it. There we go. Alright, so we just need to get one photo, run this over to Professor Oak, and we are done. It's on the right. Oh, that's okay. Photo doesn't need to be good, just needs to be of Mew. And then all we gotta do is send this photo over to Oak. Let him say, "Oh, that's wonderful," or "You were close."
You were close.
You were close this time. And then just run through a quick little dialogue box.
Welcome back. You made it. See you.
And we're done. Time. So that is Pokemon Snap. You can beat this game fairly quickly. I think it's actually a really good speedrun if you're just learning how to speedrun, because it's very technical. So there's a lot of learning how a speedrun works and how to keep track of different values and such as you're going through something like this.